Good evening, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so delighted that we get to share this celebration together, and I'm very humbled to be invited by the Brahma Kumaris to share a few thoughts about the light. My name is Marilyn King. I'm a three-time Olympic athlete, and I am a friend of the BKs for many, many years. And if there's anything that I think is important to share with you to start the few minutes that I'll be sharing, is that I often like to introduce myself as Marceline's granddaughter. My mother's mother is someone from the time I was very little. I didn't understand why, but I just chased her around all the time. I just followed her. I just wanted to be near her. And I now understand it was because of her light. She was a playful, fun, mischievous person. And when you looked into her face, you could see the light and you can feel the goodness. So for me, light and goodness have a certain kind of energy to it. So I like to introduce myself and aspire to be Marceline's granddaughter. And the second thing is that as an Olympic athlete, I participated on 2 Olympic teams in the Pentahthlon, which is 5 track and field events: hurdle, shot put, high jump, long jump, and 800 meters. And in training for my 3rd Olympic team, I was injured, couldn't train for 7 months, but thought I'd be okay next week. Then I started training in my mind for what I thought would be a few weeks, lasted 7 months. And without physical training, I placed 2nd at the Olympic trials for my 3rd Olympic team. And it caused me to quit my coaching position at UC Berkeley and try to discover, how do ordinary people do something that's like impossible? And what I discovered, I thought was really unique, and I have a unique name for it. I call it Olympian Thinking, but in fact, later on, I discovered it's really just aligning body, mind, and spirit, which is where my relationship to the Brahma Kumaris comes. I was invited to be on the board of the Visions of a Better World Foundation. And through the Brahma Kumaris, they had gone into 123 countries and asked people what their vision of a better world is. And I think this is still one of the most important books on the planet right now. And if you look through this book, I don't think there's anything you will disagree with. And what you come to as a conclusion is that we all have the same goal. We all want to see a world that looks like that. So what happened for me in terms of being on that board was, even though I didn't have much money, the board decided we were going to go to London, to the Brahma Kumari Center there, which is where I met Dadi Janki, which was just an incredible privilege. And I had not been around the Brahma Kumaris for very much time at that point, but I had learned through my life that when you go someplace new, you just watch what everyone else does and you do what they do. Well, everybody had white on. Well, I don't have many things, but I had white sweats. So I wore white sweats. And Dadi Janki, if you've ever met her or know anything about her, she was a very tiny, very powerful person. And so as everyone was taking their turn and they were coming up and everyone was being very quiet and kind of being very small. So I'm walking up like this. And then, I didn't know if I was supposed to look her in the eye or not. But, at a certain point, I looked up like this and it was like, I saw my grandmother. When I looked into Dadi Janki's eyes that first time, and what I now believe is that I saw with her spirit, was I saw the same light that I knew from my grandmother. And we know that you can look in someone's eyes, and my friend says you can tell if anybody's home, but you can tell if that light is lit or if that light is diminished. So that was my first opportunity to spend time with Dadi Janki, and I did have a few other occasions. But, the goodness and the light that she is and that she was when she was here is something that was completely unmistakable. And I wanted to be careful because I could talk on and on about the Brahma Kumaris, but I was also privileged when I came back home to San Francisco to get in touch with the center here, to meet Sister Chandru, who also just exudes the light, as do all the Brahma Kumaris. Spend time up at Anubhuti when they were first creating it, and met Sister Elizabeth and just felt so at home. And what I realized is that the Brahma Kumaris, not unlike what I teach, when I teach, passion, vision, action, which is body, mind, and spirit, but I came from the body, learned about the mind, and then discovered the role of the human spirit, and that the Brahma Kumaris read it from the other direction. It comes from spirit. They understand thinking and the mind in many ways that are similar to mind, and how important it is how we are in everyday action. So I'm very, very, very comfortable being a longtime friend of the Brahma Kumaris. And the other thing I wanted to share is while I had been away from the BK family for a while, I got invited to Peace Village, upstate New York, just a few months ago. And there was something that Sister Mohini shared that kind of gave me some words and language for something that I kind of already experienced, but didn't know how to articulate. And she talked about the fact that I think we all know that every day we are bombarded with so much information that we really can't process it all. But all of that incoming information, you kind of have a feeling, and you either feel good or you're not feeling so good, or you're feeling a little anxious. And those feelings create thoughts. And what I discovered from Sister Mohini is the Brahma Kumaris have a concept, if I use it correctly, called the divine intellect. So if you pay attention to how you feel and notice what your thoughts are, and then again, these are my words, kind of, I don't know what to say, just allow yourself a moment to see if those thoughts align with your highest good, with your highest knowing and understanding. And you can feel that, if those thoughts are aligned or if something just feels like it's not quite right. And then from that, how to move forward and how to engage in whatever the situation is. So I'm, for many, many years, very, very grateful to the Brahma Kumaris for who they are, for the work that you do in the world, and for the kinds of concepts and understandings that are helping me to grow and understand my true spiritual nature and relationship to all that is. So what I would like to leave you with, just in terms of Diwali, is when I was first invited to speak, it was like, what do I know about the light and light festivals? And then it's like, no, I know what we're talking about here. We're talking about that light that I can see in your eyes and that I can see in your eyes. And that the goodness, and these things are all vibrations. We know now from science that when you are in a love state or an appreciation or a gratitude state, it's a very high vibration level. And those vibrations actually give you more energy. And that if you're coming from a place of anger or resentment or fear, those are very low vibrations, and it takes energy to live from those vibrations. So there are many reasons for us to both see the light in one another, to find that light that's inside. And I think right now in the world, because of how dispirited so many people are, it's really important for us to let our light shine and to let people see the light and to feel the light and to feel the love. So I want to thank you again for inviting me to share a few words. And I have a beloved from out of state here who has an event over in Oakland that I'm going to be leaving for. Otherwise, I'd be here for the evening. But thank you so much for inviting me and for being part of the light.